Like cooking, everything has a recipe.
A set of instructions to follow in order to gain a certain result.
Music is no different.
Be it ingredients for a dish, a set list for an amazing show,
Or a release strategy for a successful launch.
these are all recipes.
Hi, we're your hosts, Sean.
And I'm Brandon.
Come and join us in our kitchen as we go through the Music Makers Cookbook.
Let's get cooking.
Welcome to Music Makers Cookbook, the podcast that helps independent artists cook up recipes for success in the music industry for a full year at this point.
Yay. Claps, snaps.
Obligatory clap. But no, super exciting that we've been here for a full year. So we did this similar thing in episode 25 where we just kind of reviewed where we were at, and we're going to be doing the same thing right now because after posting an episode a week for a full entire year and doing research and looking into it and planning it and yada, 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 we need a little bit of a break. We need an episode just kind of sit back and reflect and look and talk about plans for the future.
Exactly.
If you're interested in that, thank you for listening and sticking around. If you're not interested in that, next week we'll have a really awesome episode where we dive into something deep once again. But that being said, it's been a year, man.
It's been 1 year, dude. Congrats.
Yeah, congrats to you too.
Thank you, man. Yeah, dude.
Some really awesome stuff has happened in that time.
Yep. A lot of stuff. Lots of turbulent stuff too.
Yeah.
Lots of different things. I mean, just life.
Mhm.
Just life, So, but we've remained consistent through it all. And that's what matters.
We have. Yeah. I mean, looking back at episode 25 we did before about the halfway point, we expressed that our goal moving forward were to kind of have more interviews, have more focus on social media. And both were, especially the interviews hit. We had some awesome people on the show, and we're in the midst of talking about more people we can have on. But in terms of social media, it's been kind of hit and miss.
Yeah.
We have been posting more and getting more stuff out there, and our numbers have been steadily growing. So I'm excited to kind of see what this next year brings.
Yeah.
But I mean, do you feel like we've been doing good for this?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think so, dude. I think so. I mean, just being consistent in the first place has been, I mean, that's the first thing you got to get down before you can do anything else, right? It's just showing up and doing it. So we've done that every week. I think there was only 1 week where you had to take over the reins just by yourself. So other than that, dude, like I'm fairly content, man. Fairly content. I've gotten a lot of good feedback from people that, I work with. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun, dude.
Yeah.
Definitely have learned a lot, put together a lot of different puzzle pieces of music business and all that. And have even used some of that stuff in my own business, so which has been great,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a lot of fun, dude. So definitely have progressed from where I was at this time last year. I don't know if you can say the same for yourself, but I can definitely say that for myself.
No, I can. I've learned a lot more about it.
Yeah.
I've been trying to really implement more, and it's been really fun talking to people about kind of things that we've been talking about and hearing what their feedback is and
Totally.
questions they have, and kind of incorporating that into the show, which we really like to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thought it'd be fun to kind of do a quick game with you.
Oh no.
I have a couple basic facts that I'm just kind of gonna come up with and shoot off the top of my head.
Okay.
And see how good of a memory you have and if you remember it.
No, it's not going to be good. I'll tell you that much. It's not going to be good.
All right. So first question. In terms of the numbered episodes of release, what was the first episode we recorded?
I couldn't tell you.
You couldn't tell it?
Mm-mm.
So remember, we recorded...
Because that beginning part was really funky.
Yeah.
With how we did that. And we talked about 3 different things at the beginning, and I don't even remember what they were. I know one of them, we started the social media one after that, I think. It was like right after that. I think we were even still flip-flopping between where we were going to do it too. Because we were on the couch over here early on, and then we were at your place as well. We did like the test pilots there, right? But yeah, no, I couldn't even tell you.
You were correct. We recorded one full episode at my old studio, just on a rocking recliner and a office chair, which neither of us could stop moving.
No, dude,
Back and forth. Okay, so and you're right. We were released with 3 episodes, and I believe social media one was 5 and 6.
I think so, yeah.
So we released with 3.
Yep.
Which means that the one that we're in my old studio is the very first one we released. Does that give you any?
No.
Well, the last one we actually recorded 5.
Yeah, right.
But we released 3 at the start. All at once. So it's like a big, we're podcasting, we're here. Here's a dump of 3 episodes at once.
Yep.
Those were the 5th one we recorded was episode 1, all about us, kind of what this podcast is going to be about, an introduction to who we are, which we'll probably record a new episode like that for another year of doing this.
Totally. Yeah.
That's a good, episode 100. Hey, is what we're doing again.
Yep.
I'm already thinking that far in the future, which I'm excited about.
Yep. Next year at this time.
Yep. maybe a little bit earlier.
Yeah, could be.
Could be, who knows? But so that was the 5th episode we recorded and the first one that we released. And then the second episode we released was the first one we recorded. So it's episode 2.
Yeah, it's so confusing.
Yep.
So confusing. Yeah, because like I remember that and I was just like, Sean had that down. I was like, cool, I'm just gonna let Sean take care of that. Too many numbers. But yeah, no, it's hard to believe that it was like around this time last year. Did we already have them recorded this time last year?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Beginning of April, end of March. Was that right around the time we started?
Yeah, we started end of March and then we
Yeah.
released our first episode, I think May 22nd or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just go back a year from today's date. And she'll see about that.
Crazy, dude. That's crazy, man. That was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
A long time ago. So much has happened since then.
Mhm.
So much, dude. So yeah, I'm really happy we've been consistent with it because a lot has happened since then.
Second question.
Yeah.
We have, in terms of our social media platforms, we have a TikTok where we post clips from the show, as well as some shorts that we do, like Believe It or Not merch, where we talk about the merchandise that artists have sold to kind of inspire you to be creative and make some more unique merch better for your fans. We have around 600 to 1,500 views per episode at this point, but we have one that has over 350,000 views.
Mm.
What were we talking about in that short?
I don't remember the episode, what we were talking about, but you're talking about the story of digital marketing or like explaining like how you can break down digital marketing, I guess, in like a more parable kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the exact specifics of it, but it was like, oh man, I'm trying to think really hard because there's a couple good jokes in the comments.
They were great.
There are some good jokes in the comments. There's some mean jokes too. What the hell? Just kidding. It was a mixed bag. I don't remember exactly how the story went though, but like I like slightly remember some of the jokes though. What was it? Can you tell us the story real quick?
Briefly, it was talking not just about digital marketing,
Yeah.
like what marketing is as general.
Yeah.
And it was talking about if a circus comes to town
That's what, yeah.
and walking through the whole thing of like
Yeah.
the ringleader rides the elephant through downtown. That's promotion. If it tramples over the mayor's flower patch and he laughs with you about it, that's public relations.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of goes into that whole story about it. So
Yep.
that's what
Yeah.
it's about.
There was a good joke in the comments that I can't remember, but we both laughed at it pretty
Oh, yeah,
hard.
it was and if you waste 6 seconds of my time
yeah,
on the podcast.
yeah. That was a good one. That was funny. And I think about that joke every now and again when podcasts pop up on my TikTok because okay, so here's the thing, like most of the time, like a lot of these podcasts these days don't talk about anything, whereas like we're like focused on like a topic, obviously. So like some of the ones that really don't talk about anything, I'm like, yeah, I get what this guy's saying. I totally get it, and like people are like, oh, podcasting equipment should be more expensive because like everybody has one now or something. It's like, yeah, it's true, especially if you're not like talking about something specifically. But at the same time, I mean, it's great that we can all do this, though.
Oh yeah,
I mean, why not? And first and foremost, like, why not? So, but yeah, no, there were some good ones in those comments for that video. I don't think there's been one that's been really close since, though, has there?
No. The second highest has been around the 2,000 mark. None of them have blown up as much as that.
Yeah.
100,000. The shorts on YouTube have been steadily picking up. The same with Instagram. They've all been around 1,200 on Instagram and 2,500 on YouTube.
Yeah.
Which is milestone for us.
It is.
Very happy with it.
It is.
Because most people listen to this on Spotify or listen to the podcast, not the visual aspect of it.
Right.
Because we don't really do it too much. Grand. 1,000 on TikTok. We're very, very thankful and excited for that.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. What's the next question?
Next question. I have one in my head, but I don't know if it's true. I think it's either 25 or 26. I can't remember which one it happened, so I'm not going to use that one.
It's either 25 or 26.
Oh, wow. You got it. Let's kind of do a simple one. Who was the first person that we were able to interview on the show?
Oh, it's Ernie, man. It's Ernie. Well, him and I go way back, dude.
Yeah.
Like 2017, 16, somewhere around there. Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's Ernie. He's my boy, man. So like that was a great interview. It was a great first interview, I think, to do too. He made it super easy on us because that was our first interview, so we weren't really well prepped, I would say, but like we kind of were at the same time. Like it was kind of like a weird thing. It was like we had ideas of what to talk about, but didn't know exactly how it would go and how to like maybe navigate it. But honestly, the conversation was just so, and honestly, that's the same way that Gemma's interview went too, is like we had everything that we want to talk about and then the conversation just took it from there. So, and like, which is really nice. So yeah, so both of those interviews have been great, but it's Ernie was the first one, man. Yeah, he was in town for Christmas, and it was great that he was able to stop by real quick and give us like a couple hours of his time with his brother Brandon. Shout out to Brandon, man. And yeah, it was just a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
So now for the follow-up question, that makes it a little bit tougher. What episode number was it?
What episode number was it? Was it 30?
Nope. You're close, though. You're actually really close.
Really close as in how far am I off?
It starts with a 3.
32?
Yeah?
Was it?
I believe so.
Okay, cool.
I'm double checking right now.
Because like we had flip-flopped on when to release that episode. Whether we wanted to do it at the beginning of the year, following New Year's, or we wanted to do it on New Year's. Because like I think New Year's fell on a Tuesday this year. Did it? I don't remember. But yeah, it was like a little like, when do we release this? Do we want to release it at the top of the year? Or do we want to do a New Year's episode or whatever it was? So we kind of flip-flopped on, I think, when we were going to release that one. So yeah.
Yeah, it was episode 32 where we interviewed the attorney.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
Nailed it. And I
Look at that.
talked about kind of how to make social media, plan it out, make it so it's like memorable, yada. Because he teaches it at the label that he's working with, represented by. So really, really good interview.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he dropped a lot of knowledge bombs on us. I definitely want Ernie back on the podcast at some point, when he's back up in Michigan, because he just had a bunch of good stuff. I had so many other questions that we didn't get to too, which is kind of a bummer because I could have probably just sat there for 3 hours and just talking to him, but that would have been a very long time to ask of him. And not only that, but a very long time to ask of you guys to listen to a 3-hour long podcast episode. I mean, we could have probably broken into like smaller episodes, but of course, before anything that happens, we had obviously technical difficulties that we had to deal with that never happened and haven't happened since.
No, it was the only time.
Yep.
Yeah, because all of a sudden, like the preamp wasn't working for his microphone.
Yep. Of course, and it hasn't happened since. So yeah, just the way that it kind of goes. Yeah. So a little behind the scenes that we sat there troubleshooting it for 30 minutes, which kind of sucked. But so we'll be better next time. And we also had technical difficulties to be with Gemma's interview too. So it is what it is.
Just is what it is.
Yeah.
Follow-up question. Well, not follow-up. Next question. How long was our longest episode of the podcast?
Ooh, it was pretty long, wasn't it? Isn't it roughly around an hour and a half?
That's a little bit longer than it was.
Was it?
Yeah.
Hour and 45?
No, there's 1 hour and a half is longer.
Oh, gotcha. So probably like an hour and 20.
That's exactly what it was. An hour, 20 minutes, and 11 seconds. It was episode 8. How to pack your dining room with hungry fans using social media, part 1. Yeah, if that was the first part of it, we really got into it. And then conversely, how long do you think our shortest episode was?
Oof. I'm going to say 30 minutes.
So our first episode was 36 minutes. And I'm just kind of going through. That was our shortest one. I was surprised that the one that I did by myself wasn't shorter.
How long was that one?
It's a good question. I'm trying to find it. Oh, nope, my bad. The one I made by myself was the shortest.
20 minutes?
It was
26 minutes?
28 minutes.
28
seconds.
Okay, gotcha. Because I remember seeing like a 20 and like maybe a 26, but 28. Yep. Okay, gotcha.
28 is the shortest one that we did. A little bit behind the scenes. I had already created some Instagram graphics for 10 music maker tips. And I was like, I had a podcast topic. So I was like, well, I got this information now. They're releasing on social media. That's about 10 things that are useful to do. So I'm just going to make an episode that talks about these 10 things. And, algorithms like numbers, the 10 things you can do. So yeah, that's just what I did.
Yeah.
It's funny though. I don't know if it's about camera quality or just it's just me or my delivery or whatnot, but those are consistently the worst performing videos on TikTok.
Which ones?
The ones that are clipped from that episode.
Oh, really?
Yep. I don't know if it's the angle, the lighting, or whatnot, but
interesting.
Those clips are consistently the worst performing ones.
Yeah, because we had talked about that a lot. Behind the scenes, I guess it's a little bit behind the scenes episode when we were doing it, when we were filming on the couch. We were talking about how white it was, and how everything was super washed out, and we were like, maybe that's one of the reasons why, things aren't picking up on social media because it doesn't like it, right? Yeah. And then we changed that, and then we played around with the camera quality, the lighting. We flipped back and forth between now your studio and my studio now. And we've kind of made it work. And I think that's helped in the progression of the social media aspect of things too. And not only that, but I think it's like more appealing to look at too for the viewers and everything. I know it is, at least for me, because it's a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. But yeah, no, I definitely remembered having those conversations like quite a few times, you know, just on like, what can we do to like spice this up? We tried lights in the background of the couch. That didn't really work out too well. And it was just like, yeah, we just got to move off of the couch. And plus, like, whenever I would sit in the couch or sit on the couch, I would sit into the couch and I would feel like I was like about to fall asleep, because that couch is really comfy.
It's very comfy,
it's super comfy, and I would just lose all my like stamina or drive, I guess, you know, or energy.
First year we got the coffee.
We're sitting up, you know, we got the lights in front of us and everything, and we have like our little home base in front of us now. Which, by the way, this isn't like a table for anybody that wants to know.
Don't break.
No, I have to. It's not even a table, dude.
It's a table.
It is. There's a table under it
block on top
with a butcher's block on it. So, which is pretty cool. That's good set design right there.
That's how it looks like the countertop.
Yep. Good set design. I get that question a lot. Is that a real table? Where do you keep the table? Like, it's actually kind of like a banquet table with a butcher's block on it.
That's exactly what it is.
Which is really cool.
To have it
in
the basement.
It was a great idea. Because that was all in the whim.
It was.
That was all in the whim.
Episode 25 or 26 is when we switched to this configuration, this lighting design. We've done a couple at my studio every now and then, but this is the main home base of it. And we were like, this is the 25th episode. We're starting a new season, and we're like reviewing. Let's switch up the angle. Let's switch up the lights. We were thinking the white couch isn't cutting it anymore. And we're also like, we don't really have a cover, and we don't want to just do a banquet table. So I was like, I have a butcher's block. Maybe that'll look good. And I drove it home, drove it back, put it up, and we're good to go.
Yep. That was crazy, because we came up with this set in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's stuck ever since. I think it looks the best in configuration also with yours. Like, I think we both have really good looking setups now that we can flip flop between, and that worked really well for the podcast. So yeah, I'm really happy we moved off of the couches and then the chairs. They're like the recliners, you know? So yeah, definitely I like this a lot better for sure. For sure. So my question to you is, how many cups of coffee do we have before we start the podcast episode?
Did we have or do we have?
Do we have on average?
You usually have one. I usually have two.
Yeah.
Because
technically
you try to spread yourself out.
Technically, I have two, because I had one on the way here. That's it. I do try to spread it out.
We said in general.
I know. It was a trick question.
It was an outlier.
Yeah.
I do have only two more questions for this quiz thing, though. And they're really related. So the first part of it is, how many different thumbnail templates have we used on YouTube?
The way that I kind of separate them is from the early days. Then we went to like, let's take pictures and have fun with it, you know? And then now we have the new one. 3 different templates?
That's very close. We've had 4.
4. Okay.
4.
Okay.
There was a period, because we started off with a white background on the couch, where just a screenshot of us talking with like some text on top. Then we switched it to the cutouts of us with the thumbnail faces, with a kitchen in the background, some colorful shapes in the background. And then we switched to a full color background.
Which
is kind of similar to the style of post we were using for Instagram at that point, where it was just a full color with information on top of it. Then lastly, we switched to the one we are doing currently, right around the same time, where once again, we switched our Instagram template, where there's a colored border, but then there's a dark faded image with the text popping out in front of it.
Clean. Love it. That's like the most clean and modern looking one. And I love that one. Yep. I actually make similar YouTube thumbnails when I do like my one mic videos down here. So like when people come in and we shoot the video and stuff, and I'll send them the edited video. I'll send them a bunch of photos I take during the session and still frames, and then I'll also send them a YouTube thumbnail so they don't have to make their own and everything. And that's exactly what I do with them. I just take a really nice photo that I really enjoyed from the set, maybe 2. I'll make 2 different thumbnails sometimes, and then I'll put the text behind it and then something under it. And that's exactly what you've implemented. I love it. I love that design so much. It just looks so modern and sleek looking.
Did you start doing that before or after?
Before.
Okay. So I've never seen that.
No, totally. Yeah. Cause like I don't upload the one mics to my YouTube's that also, or my YouTube channel. So there would be no way you probably would have seen it, honestly, because I don't update my social media because I suck. So, but yeah. So I have done that. I'm like, the way that you're doing, I'm like, this looks super good. So I really like those a lot.
Took us a while to get there. I'm wondering if I should retroactively go back and
you could
replace all the thumbnails, but no,
it's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. Yeah. I'll just go through the history so you can see the viewer.
Yeah. You can see how it grows.
Yeah.
Like everything in like with their music, you're gonna start off, you're gonna look like shit. You're gonna sound like shit. And then you're gonna get better.
That's right. That's right.
We still look like shit.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's gonna get any better. So you might be in there for the long haul.
I'm kidding. Random's the attractive one amongst them.
No, stop.
It's canonical.
It's not true. It's not true. It's not true. It's not true. It's not.
As a fact.
It is literally not true.
It is incredibly true. It says so right there on paper.
It's not true, Sean.
All right. So related to that, what the last question I got of this thrown together quiz is, what episode number did we switch to our current thumbnail template?
Oh, damn. That's a good question. Is it within the past couple months? I don't know.
I was kind of surprised about it when I saw the number.
Is it later or earlier than we thought?
I'm not going to tell you until you guess the number.
38?
That is shockingly close.
39?
Go down.
37.
It's 37.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
37 was the first one we switched this to.
I figured it was somewhere around there.
Yep.
37 would take us back 2 months.
Mhm.
Sounds about right.
Which I'm surprised it took me that long to get it like that, because when we recorded episode 32 with 30, like we just talked about, on the promotional posts, like on our story, I used the basic design philosophies that I later implemented on our thumbnails.
Yeah.
So we went like 5 more episodes where I didn't implement the design I was already starting to use on Instagram. Before I was like, I should probably implement this in our thumbnails, and it turned out really cool. Because I remember sending you a thumbnail like, does this work well for you? And you were like, yeah.
Yeah. No, it looked, when I saw it, I was like, yeah, dude, that's it. That's it right there. I love the way that looks. So yeah, I'm surprised that it wasn't as early or maybe as late. Cause like I did guess a little bit later. So
yeah,
that sounds about right though. Sounds about right. I was trying to judge it like when I last remembered it, like based on the months, not the episodes. So, and then calculating the episodes. So I was like, somewhere around there.
All right. So yeah, that concludes the impromptu thrown together quiz section of this.
Yay. I failed.
No, you didn't.
I got a C.
Yeah. You got
C minus.
right. You were very close in a lot of things that I didn't
D
know.
plus. D plus.
Okay.
D minus.
Usually the person that takes the test doesn't grade it.
I'm really harsh on myself. But
no, it was.
You should have saw me through school. Oh my God, it was terrible. You wouldn't want to meet college me.
No.
I was like neurotic.
Where you know
about grades.
Damn.
Yeah. So we'll top on myself. As I should be.
Give yourself some slack, man. Don't be too tough on yourself.
Thanks, man.
It's all about taking a good in the bed.
That means a lot.
Good, I'm glad.
Yes.
Oh man. So I wonder why the vibe is a little bit off. Is because my microphone got fucked up halfway through the quiz section.
Yes, it did.
So if I sound like crap at that point and you left, then you're not hearing me apologize for it. But if you're still here, thank you for listening through, and I'm apologizing.
A rare occurrence.
A very rare occurrence. Me apologizing? I apologize.
No.
I admit fault.
I'm talking about.
I'm always wrong.
Talking about the technical difficulty.
It was. I would.
Isn't it
laugh
weird?
my ass off if I edit and I find it turns out that it cut out around the same point we talked about.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I was about to say.
That would be hilarious.
That would
I'm gonna have to do like a voiceover.
That would be
like, hey, Sean,
absolutely crazy.
As we're talking about this, it goes to shit.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious.
That would be actually kind of scary.
It would be.
I might have to take a few weeks off of the podcast and run away somewhere. No,
run away. But no, with that being said, that's the quiz.
Yeah.
I hope you had fun playing.
I did. Thank you.
I was struggling to come up with some topic.
No, dude, you do great.
No
you
prep.
do great. I was struggling to come up with some answers.
Next time I'm gonna have to do some more prep. If you have anything that you want us to, when episode 104 comes to do as part of the quiz, we'll reach out to you guys at that point. Or just send some information that you've noticed throughout the series to us. We'd love to talk to you at podcasting@makerscookbook.com. Anyways, with that being said, another question I do have for you. It's not part of the quiz.
Yeah.
I want to know your answer because I'm really curious about your opinions and I value you as a person. What is your favorite episode that we've done so far and why? And if you wanted, and aside from that, if it's not the same, if you were to recommend somebody to start with one episode, what would it be?
That's a good question. I'm going to look through the episodes real quick and give you my answer.
Sounds good.
We're just going to go on the web player because I don't have Spotify downloaded on here.
We have to log into my account too. No.
Right. I'm just going to look up the podcast. Yeah. Because we've had a lot of good ones. So I don't know if I can give you a specific episode, but I'm going to give you a specific topic. And I think that was the influence series. I think I had the most fun doing that one because I think not only was the information really good, and I learned a bunch in that book and was able to actually apply some of it to my real life, and what not only apply it but realize what I was doing was because of certain things, you know, from like a psychological standpoint. But this series also gave us like a format for the podcast, I feel like, from here on out, because we structure our episodes in similar ways now, where we'll talk about like some of the theory stuff behind it, talk about what it is exactly, and then we'll introduce other things in the back half of it, and then round it out with some things that maybe you shouldn't do or what to look out for, right?
Yeah.
And that's really how it's been going with every single episode, I feel like, since then. It's given me a good foundation to like build off of when we're like prepping for episodes and everything.
So
I think that's
the influence series starting at episode 37 going to 43, correct?
Yep.
All right.
Yep. So
you hadn't quite said it yet. So.
No, totally. Yeah. 37 to 43. That's when I would say that's my favorite like era of our show so far. Yeah. What about you?
Well, and also follow up, if you were recommending somebody to dive into a full first episode, which episode would it be?
Ooh, good question. I really liked, I think, the social proof one the most out of that one. So episode 40 is the one that I enjoyed the most. I think I got the most out of too. And I think our conversation was probably one of the best on that episode. I remember walking away from that episode and being like, hell yeah, like that was really good. So yeah, I think episode 40 would be the one.
Yeah, the episode on social proof was one of my favorite ones as well, because it was really cool to dive into not necessarily just what social proof is and why we do things that other people do, but also talking about and brainstorming ways that independent artists can use it to further their career.
Yeah.
So it was a really fun episode.
Yeah.
I agree with you. That was a good place to start off.
Yeah. I just thought it was like the most beneficial and the most like pertinent to people, I think, and then like breaking down like what to do with like some of your music marketing and things like that. Yeah, I just really enjoyed that episode. I'm gonna go back and listen to that episode because I remember, like I said, I remember walking away from that one being like, hell yeah, like that was really fucking good. So yeah, that was my favorite. What about you? What was your favorite?
So my personal favorite episode that we've done so far is actually one of our most recent ones. I really liked episode 49.
Oh yeah.
Where we talked about the different music distributors, strengths,
good one.
weaknesses, some positives of them, did a direct comparison. But I also like what we did kind of on the back end of it, how now we're starting to incorporate more links and resources for people to follow through and get more information after listening to us and kind of learn like, okay, well, they got this from these sources. So we can dive deeper when they really want to learn more than just the surface level conversation and kind of education that we have in this podcast. And that's definitely going to kind of continue going down past this episode in the new year, because we've done a lot of just broader philosophical types of episodes where now we can start diving into the more nitty gritty and like cannot really not necessarily give direct instructions of do this, do that, do this, but more so like, hey, not just here's an ingredient you can use, but like, here are the recipes around the ingredient. Here are why this is important to use, and more educational steps and like applications and how it can be used to further the career. And not
absolutely.
This, what it is.
Yeah, definitely. And we had talked about doing things like that. I remember it was like back like near 20s where we were like, we got to do like more concrete stuff, you know? And that was like always our goal. And we started getting there, I feel like in the 30s, like we started doing that really well. And then in the 40s is where we really started like applying it a lot. And then now moving forward, we're going to be doing the same thing. So I really did I've enjoyed all the recent episodes, and people out there might be like, oh, recency bias. But it's like, it's kind of true though, because like you can see the progression where we're starting to like take the shape and take but a path, you know, for the podcast. And yeah, I'm just really excited for the future because I really like what we have going now. It feels like there's a lot of momentum in terms of like how we're structuring these, what we're talking about, and like you said, the information we're giving not only in the episode but on the back end of things too, and where to point to more concrete things, right? Yeah, just really enjoy it.
I just mentioned the fact that 37 to 43 had like, here's the information behind it, here is the backing of like why it's important, what exactly it is, and then we dive into how it specifically applies in this use case for you as an independent artist.
Yeah,
you mentioned recency bias, which may play a fact in
might,
but it doesn't play a fact in the one that I recommend starting off with or going back to if you haven't. It's kind of a tie of like some sister episodes that I call them First one being episode 20, the seasons of music creation.
That's a good one.
Yeah, because I think it's really important to take a step back sometimes and look at what you are doing and think, okay, where am I? What season am I in? Where do I go next? And am I utilizing it as much as I should be?
Yeah.
And it helps kind of, we walk through the mindset of everything has a season. It's cyclical. It goes into place. So you can be most productive in each season. So where are you? What kind of tasks you need to do and how to move on from there?
Exactly.
But the sister episode of that is episode 30, which is the musician's hierarchy of needs.
Oh, that was a really good one too.
This was a really fun one to do.
Yeah.
And the reason it goes along with it is because it makes you think, okay, where am I in this journey? And where are my end goals? Because we talk about 2 different paths and 2 different tops of the hierarchy.
Yeah.
Being superstardom and also mentorship. Like, where do you want to be? Do you want to pass on the baton, or do you want to be the shit? Both are equally valid and both take different steps throughout that hierarchy as you move from one to the next, to the next, to the next.
Yeah.
And the combination of those 2 of where is your end goal? Have you satisfied everything below you? And also what season are you in? Having them together will really help you put together a effective plan moving forward, and can also kind of help you guide, okay, well, if I need to learn more of this, maybe I should listen to this episode next because this applies specifically to what I'm trying to do. And helps you avoid shiny object syndrome because you have that step-by-step task list in front of you.
Absolutely.
Which, if you want to write down, you can listen to episode 6, SMART goals.
Oh, look at that.
Well, I think episode 25
That's really good.
was the one I recommended listening to first, episode 6. But I don't know if I should recommend starting with that one. But if you want to go someplace after episode 20, you think about episode 6.
Yeah. I think like at first, I don't know if we were trying to do this at all, but we were like, it felt like it was like, I imagine somebody listened to these all the way through from start to finish. Because like that's what I've done with a lot of podcasts. I like to start at the very beginning, but that's not really the way that podcasts are always meant to be listened to, right? And once I kind of broke that mentality, I was like, oh, okay, like we can talk about whatever we want, you know, and it doesn't have to like follow up on the last week's episode. And I broke that mentality pretty quickly in the beginning, you know. But yeah, so I mean, really, you can start anywhere you want, but like Sean said, like those are probably some really good jumping off points. I want to give a plug to our interviewees too.
Yeah, I was just thinking
because like
scrolling.
Yeah, because I saw Ernie and then I saw Gemma. You know, so it's like I don't think so, but I saw the episode.
I gotta do that.
I was just like, dude, like those are really good episodes to start off with too, because they just dropped a bunch of knowledge bombs. A bunch of knowledge bombs. So if you want like really good dirty details and what you can take away from right away and start going and moving, those would be some good episodes to listen to too. And plus, I mean, they're just great people. So yeah.
And then you got a third viewpoint and someone else to go out of the dialogue. So they're more entertaining.
Exactly.
Than necessarily just you and I having this conversation back and forth. They're very informative, but this has got, we kind of keep them more casual, whereas the interviews are more just like, let's make it entertaining as well.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, lots of personality in there. Which is always fun. It makes it a little bit more of an entertaining listen to as well. So yeah, no, We've done a fair amount, dude. We've done a fair amount. I'm just looking at it right now. I'm just very impressed because I never ever go back and look, you know, like, so you did a great job, dude. Thank you for all that you've done for the podcast at this point, man.
You too, man.
Thanks, dude.
You've really, really taken over the kind of pre-production and the prep side of it, which has been a huge help because I've been doing more and more of the posts.
Yeah.
I want to throw in these kind of shorts and I want to make these kinds of posts and I want to have this and this and you're just like, well, let's research and spend time doing it beforehand. You've been doing more of the bullet points for the podcast episode beforehand, and you've been diving into more of a mentality and the definitions behind what we talk about. Yeah, but that's really become like your segment. Like, hey, tell us the deets, man.
For sure. Yeah.
And really helpful for me, and also like.
It's
not necessarily how I think all the time.
No, totally. And like, of course, like I said, it was when we started doing the influence series that it came together. I was like, this is exactly how I think I would structure this normally. It's a very academic way because that's how I used to think, like academically, you know, when I would start off papers and everything. It's like you kind of tee it up and then you knock it out of the park with everything else that follows up after that. And it just feels right doing it this way. It makes sense to structure it this way. I think it's an easy way to follow things. And that's just how the brain works, honestly. So if you have any suggestions outside of that, I would love to hear how you'd want to structure things, you know, too. this is just the one way that my brain will function properly. So if we can incorporate anything, and obviously this goes to you, the viewer and the listener as well, that we can put in these like preps, you know, that makes things a little bit easier to follow if we're missing an important section or transition or something along the way. And you can identify that and tell us, that would be great. Because like we always want to make sure that we're adding as much value as we can into these hour-long episodes so you can get the most value out of these episodes each and every time.
Yeah. Like, for example, there are a couple episodes where we start off with a clip from later in the interview or just kind of us joking or listing an important fact that's later in the episode. And then the majority of them just kind of start right off the bat with the introduction sequence.
Yep.
Do you like it when we have the quip or that quote from later in the episode first and then it goes into the intro? Or do you like it when it's just boom, intro, and then later dives into the episode? Because one is like, oh, we're at the tension right off the bat. The other is, well, you know exactly it's like 20 seconds of an intro. So you just click, skip, and then you're into the meat and potatoes.
Yep, totally.
They're both valid.
Both are very valid, and both are really popular, you know, especially the 30-second one in the beginning. Like I've seen that more and more, even with YouTube videos, you know, with a lot of people, with like a lot of creators, and that's just to catch the attention. I think you have to do that, especially when you're doing like short form kind of stuff. So yeah, definitely let us know if you like that, because I'm getting used to it myself, seeing other people do it. So at this point, so I think it's just it's a necessary evil right now to do, just because that's the way social media works. But curious to hear what other people would think too, where their stance is on that.
Yeah. I'm really curious to get the kind of feedback everybody who's watching this.
Yeah.
That's been some of the most fun stuff of just like, hey, try this, hey, try that. I had this one, believe it or not, merch episode that I posted 2 or at this point, no, I guess it would be like 4 episodes ago, where I got a comment from someone saying, really like it, but it was a little hard to watch without, like it seemed a little stale. There wasn't any sound effects or any major transitions. And I'm like, no, it's a good point. Maybe I should try playing around with some like effects or transitional things. Later on, somebody messaged, like someone responded to him saying like, dude, it's a 40-second clip if you can't watch it without sound effects.
Yeah.
But both viewpoints are valid. It does make it more engaging and more fun to listen to and watch when there are some effects going on. And there's extra production put into it. So I just got to figure out exactly how I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, like if it's just straight up, here's the information, 40 seconds, watch it. The information has its own entertainment value. It can only be amped up by some effects. So
sure.
I'm going to be trying to apply more effects into these shorts and these videos, and we'll see how that goes.
Really good feedback by that guy that left the comment.
Yeah. Really
good feedback, actually. And not it just being a roast or something, you know. That's actually really helpful, because it's like looking at my TikTok For You page, for example, it's all just a dopamine rush for me. And that's what a lot of TikTok is just like, how can you get as much dopamine out of you as possible while you're scrolling? And just a lot of consumption. And you don't realize like the things that are happening in the videos, you know, if it wasn't in there, the sound effects, the music, the certain text light, or the certain text color that you're using, right? Or the certain cuts that you're doing, whether or not you're putting like a shitty effect on there that makes it look like it's recorded on an old phone, or, well, you know, something wild, right?
Or just use my shitty phone camera.
Or just use Sean's camera. But you know, you just don't realize that that's why you're attracted to that video until you take like a step back and look at it. But like that comment even made me realize like, oh yeah, maybe I should study like why these TikToks are popular, right?
Yeah.
It's not always the content that's good. It's sometimes just the way that it's put together.
Just goes the brain right.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So that was a good piece of feedback, whoever left that.
Exactly.
Shout out to that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that also brings up the point of like, like in music is a game. You got to play the game right if you want to be the most successful at it.
Yeah.
And that's part of what these recipes we talk about are. Like, these are all the moves and the pieces that you can play with as you play this game.
Yeah.
So now this is a conversation. Nothing we've talked about in any of these episodes is like, yes, this is the correct 100% thing you need to do. It's always been, this is what we've learned, this is what we've applied, this is the results that we've seen. This is us having a conversation on it, then inviting you to join the conversation as well.
Yeah.
So if you watch any episode and you have thoughts about it, let us know. Like, continue this conversation. If there's things you want us to cover in the future, let us know. Continue this conversation and let us know what you want us to talk about, and we can respond to you and have this back and forth. And it's playing the game is also like, we're learning how to make it in the music industry. We're learning how to create social media content that's engaging and insightful and can make a difference, get people who actually want to watch it, make it fun.
Right.
So it's all things that we're all trying to do.
Yeah.
And as we've said, we both make a living in this industry.
Yep.
and we're trying different things all the time and trying to make it work. So that's where our brains kind of go. Like now we get to play around and see what works better, what works less, and report back to you. So you have more people on your team.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, I think you make a great point, because we've always talked about it like this. Like, our episodes are more conversation and discussion based than they would be, here's what you need to do to get to here. While that might get more views in the long run, here's what you need to do. Here are 5 steps that you need to take. Here are 2 tips that will change your life forever, whatever. That's just not what we do. Yeah. And I don't think that's what we'll ever really do. I mean, I don't want to say never, but like, because like if we find a concrete way to do something, we obviously want to tell you how to do it exactly, right? But at this point, life isn't like that almost ever. Everybody's different. Every situation's different. And not acknowledging that would be a disservice, I think, to our information that we're providing, right? And the value that we're trying to provide. And I'm just really glad that that is the case, because, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of podcasts out there that will do just that, and being like, here are 5 easy steps to take for you to be a millionaire. And it's like, that's not like the case 95% of the time, you know, very small majority of the time. And like, your music career is different than mine, different than Sean's. Sean's is different than mine. Mine's different than Sean's, right? So like, we all differ, but we're all trying to come together to cultivate a home base for learning and take together all these scenarios that we've all been through and use them to sustain a life within music. So I think that's one of my favorite parts about the podcast episode, is that we're not definitive. There's a lot of gray area that we provide, and a lot of discussion that we invite, because we want to learn more. And not taking into consideration almost every single scenario is a complete disservice to everything. So
1,000%.
Yeah. Was
That's
that really
been a year.
was that really hippy dippy?
No. I think that was a good way to kind of conclude this episode, because we've just been looking back, thinking about like what we're happy with, what we want to improve, where we recommend starting off, having fun with it, playing the game, yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a year.
Yeah. Real quick year in review. You ready to do this?
Go for it.
When we started, this place was under construction.
Yes.
Because of the flood, right? And then you had to prep for a move later in that year, right? So we had like a solid home base for a minute while we were doing this, and then Sean had to move out of his studio. And of course, there's a lot of other stuff in between at this point.
Yeah.
And Sean is now in his new place. I'm in here, right? I've been in here for about a year now, you know, which has been really nice. But Sean's in his new place now, and just a bunch of stuff in between that could have derailed us from not doing an episode or from taking time off, right? But it didn't. Like, we always figured out a way to do it. So I got to commend you. Great job on that, dude.
Yeah,
Great job on that. Yeah.
Always been able to keep it free, so I could come in and get this work in, or being flexible so we'd come into my studio and knock this out. There's been times where we've had things in the backlog and things where it's been like, hey man, we got an episode coming out tomorrow, so we got to come in and record this.
Totally. Yeah.
I said only one episode did one of us have to go solo.
Yep.
And for a whole year, that's pretty solid.
That's pretty damn good.
I appreciate you being like invested,
of course, dude,
putting in the time into this
every week, dude. That's the routine. That's how it goes.
Oh man. So what is I guess just to end this on, after looking back or talking about the future plans, like, did you think when we started in your head that, yes, this is going to be at least a year? And then what are you most proud of with this podcast?
I don't think I ever looked at it like, will it make it a year? Will it make it this amount of time? I always imagined like, how would it die if it did? And I could never imagine a scenario where it could, unless one of us had walked away or moved or something tragic, you know, knock on wood. I never envisioned an ending to that. Normally, like, I think sometimes when I see stuff, like, I always can see an end to it. Like, how could this end, you know? And then you play all those different scenarios and be like, oh, that could happen. And I never like saw that with this. I don't think. I still don't see it with it. I don't see how this could ever. So I think, to answer your first question, is that exactly. What was the second part of it?
What are you like most proud of in this first year of like doing this podcast, or the results from it?
That's a good one. I think I'm most proud of being able to use it on my own, like, business and stuff like that, but also being able to point people towards help in case they need it. I think that's a really big thing too. And then obviously outside of that is just being able to do this every week. I think I'm proud of that too, because it's a very big commitment to do, but it's really not at the same time, right? Because like we come in, we'll do the podcast, we'll do the research beforehand, whatever. And really like in the grand scheme of thing and like in terms of the week, it doesn't take all that much, but like a lot of people wouldn't do it. I think just figuring out the logistics of it too, I'm most proud of too, because like that project management kind of has helped a little bit, structure other things in my life too, like mainly in terms of like the studio and everything. Yeah. So that's definitely helped out a lot. So I would say those few things. I know it's kind of like a weird roundabout way to kind of answer it, nothing super concrete, but all those things kind of like gelled together, I think, to come in at the end. But what about you?
So when we started this, I think straight up, we were starting it, we were having conversations. I was saying like, yeah, I'm serious. I want to do this.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, me too. And I'm like, yeah, this isn't going to go anywhere until we get at least 100 episodes in. Mm-hmm. So like right off the bat, my mind was like, yeah, we're doing 100 episodes.
Oh yeah, totally.
At a bare minimum. Mm-hmm. And not same as you, like, I didn't really see like a definitive end date.
Yep.
I just knew that, and I was trying to communicate, and we did communicate of like, this is going to be a while. Mm-hmm. More so to be like, because you were like, I'm in. Are you in?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm in. Are you in? There was like kind of feeding back and forth at the start of like,
totally.
You were like, just we can talk this through. Like, do we both realize how much time and effort this is going to take? Mm-hmm. It's going to take a lot of time and effort.
Yep. And I think like a lot of that personally for me, like piggybacking off of that, comes from like already having done like studio stuff. Like it took years and years and years. And like, I'm friends with other people that have had their own businesses, whether they're retired or not. And they're like, it just takes time. And like, I literally tell that to everybody, like, it just takes time. Right. And like, I've remained consistent with the studio for years now. And like, now I'm like really in a happy place, and hopefully like it keeps pushing forward like it is, because like it's starting to like really churn that momentum now, which is great.
Oh yeah.
And I think I just looked at the podcast the same way. I'm like, this is just going to be a time investment, and it's going to take a really long time, and people don't want that. Like, so a lot of the time people just want it to be overnight, and that's not the way it works 99% of the time.
100% of the time.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. Because even the people that blow up have done things in the background that you don't even know about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And even let's say 1 in a million, like, this random thing just happened to make it all work right off the bat. That outlier is such a small percentage that statistically it is zero.
Yep. Exactly.
So 100% of the time it doesn't.
Exactly. Yeah. So that the kind of piggybacking off of what you just said is that exactly. I knew it was going to take a long time, and it's still taking a long time, and I don't even care. It just is what it is.
It's just we just having fun with it.
I mean, shit, dude. I mean, we've gone like across the street to meet Steve, at his studio now, because like we had the ability to do so. Like we've done a lot of shit because of the podcast. I mean, just us being there, was really cool, and being able to go across the street and be like, "Oh, what's up?" And meet different people, and we've met obviously multiple different people through this now, and so it just takes a while. It just takes a while. Yeah, and I know a lot of people have said along the way, like, "Oh, like how's it like? Are you making money off of this or anything like that?" It's like, no, I don't really care. That's not the goal. Mm-hmm. That's not the goal. No, not the goal. So there you go. So if you're wondering, no,
not yet.
Yeah,
but no, it's that. And then what I'm probably most proud of with it is similar to yours, where it's like the things that I'm learning through here, and I can now implement and help the people that I work with more, especially like a direct reference of like actually having things I can send people of like, hey, how do I get ready for studio? Like, how do I prep or whatnot? Just give them a link to your page where you talk about how to prep. It's just super helpful to be like, oh yeah, and I didn't even think about this. Like having a checklist, a thing that they can consume to do better work for the music. And then also like, oh, we just recorded episode 49. Where to distribute music? I've had people ask all the time, like, where do I distribute my music? Mm-hmm. What are the perks? What are the positives? What are the negatives? And now, like, after really diving into the episode, at least in the meantime, like in this current situation, before everything changes in a year or so or less, I have a definitive like answer. Like, oh yeah, I see what you're trying to do. I would lean toward distributors because they match what you are looking for out of your music versus these ones don't. Like, and I can point them to an episode of here's a thing that you can listen to make your own decision to learn more about what this is all about.
Totally.
As well as there's a link in there for you to go and do your own research. Like things are starting to tie together, and it specifically relates to what's going on. Like, and like also the influence series, like things I can implement to help my studio grow. I can tell artists to use these sort of techniques because we had to brainstorm, like, how can you use these layers of influence as an artist. Like, oh, have you tried doing this? I recommend doing this. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm in a rut. How to get this up? Oh, try doing this. This is why this works. So it's just been helpful to have something that I can reference to people, and it feels good to have made all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to continue to make more.
Absolutely, dude. Yeah, because it's not over. Not over at all. Let you know that right now. We'll be back next week with another episode.
Yes, we will. Tuesday at 6:30 a.m. Eastern time everywhere.
That's right.
And 4:30 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube. We do delay the video podcast a little bit just to try to fit the peak traffic hours.
Hell yeah.
Of YouTube and all that.
Smart.
Yep.
Smart.
Yep. We see how it works. With that said, been a year.
Been a year.
You gonna close it out?
You want me to close it out?
Yeah.
What do you say? I don't remember.
Well, I say things basically like, thank you for listening to this whole podcast episode. If you're interested to learn more about us or to contact us to talk about this podcast or anything in general, you can contact us at podcast@musicmakerscookbook.com. Leave us an email or follow us on your social media platforms and DM us. We'll try to get back as soon as we can to answer your questions, to talk about maybe some episode topics we can talk about in the future, or if you have any guests you want us to potentially have podcast episodes with in the future. You can let us know in all those locations. Aside from that, if you want to work with Brandon, you can find him
at www.studio222recording.com, or you can find me at all the social media platforms minus X or Twitter, whatever it's called, and TikTok. I don't really have a TikTok for the studio page.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned that every week, but you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff at Studio222Recording, or you can find me with my personal page _Brandon McLeod. What about you, Sean?
Yeah, if you want to work with me and then you studio stuff or remote mixing and mastering, you can search me at swsrecordings.com. I have a submission form where you can let me know about your music, what your project is. As I said, mixing and mastering. I also do independent artist coaching. So basically what this podcast is, but more specific towards you. Find out where you are in your career, what your goals are, work through putting that all together, and leave you with steps to move forward to make a living in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
So you can hit me up through that website as well.
Hell
Also,
yeah.
Same as you said, any social media platform at SWS Recordings.
Hell yeah. I'll be going there. I know I will.
And I'll be going to Studio 222 recording.
Thanks.
Yep. Links in the description.
Sean,
that was a weird breath.
Sean almost died.
But that links in the description. Anyways, thank you for watching, listening to this full episode. Thank you for being with us for this full year at this huge milestone. It's really exciting.
Yay.
And with that all being said,
Bon appetit for another year.